Smitty, I'll start with you. Just outside the playoffs, when we think about short term, we know he's locked in for a lot of years. How much does this change the way you look at the Pistons and their chances to make the playoffs this season?
Well, I think they still have a chance. I mean, the one part I look at is you still have two dominant bigs, and obviously a point guard, Ish Smith, who's playing pretty good, right, in my opinion. I like Ish. You know, Reggie Jackson is the starter. He's out. The one interesting for me is I've always saw Drummond on the low block. This year they put him at the elbow, and he's been facilitating, averaging about 4 assists, and I've been impressed with Drummond. To me now, how is Stan going to move Drummond back to the low post? Because that's the area, to me, that where Blake occupied the elbow. So it's going to be interesting right now how those two play together. I think it's kind of easier for guards to get a chance to come in, but for two bigs to be able to play along with each other, it's going to take some time, I think.
Yeah, I want to follow you from the point standpoint. You mentioned Ish. You got a guy like Blake coming over. Your point guard, you're dealing with your own team. Right here goes Bradley and Tobias. These guys are gone. What do you get excited about if you realize that you get a chance, Rod, now to play on the floor with a Blake Griffin?
Well, I mean, you have a superstar. You know, he's been a perennial all-star. He's a marquee player. He's somebody who can score points. And as a point guard, you love that. Somebody that can get out on the break, run, get some excitement to the game, to the fans. And as a point guard, I mean, you're looking forward to that. You're looking to utilize him. You know, like Steve said, you know, you have two big guys, but on the East Coast, it's a little different now. You know, a lot of teams play with two bigs or similar styles. So I think it'll be interesting. I think it'll be good.
Right. The question for me is, when you play that position, like you said, a scorer, how does that help a lob guy as well? How does that help your game when you have a guy that can go for lobs at any point? Does that help you as far as driving it?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. I mean, you know you got an outlet. You know, at the end of the day, you got an athletic, long wing, you know, a guy who can get out in transition. So, yeah, it helps. It helps a lot.
You know, one thing I wanted to get into, because, Smitty, we happened to sit here about a week ago on a Monday watching Blake have a great night, but a lot of it was from the three-point line. He was taking a lot of shots, and I know we talked about it on air afterwards. You'd like to see him take a little less. Is that something you look for now from him in this role, to be the more aggressive version of Blake Griffin? Even though he could shoot that shot, maybe he's fallen in love with it.
You know, the evolution is to shoot the three. But I just like big guys who doesn't have the handles to get separation. He's pretty good, but I love the kick-out threes for a pick and pop, a drive where a guard is giving you, setting you up. I don't like when a big guy is going on his own shooting a three. But for me, I think he can do a lot of damage in the paint. He's got to want to be able to take on contact, and that's the one area I look for him is when he does it consistently, he's pretty good. But I think when he starts to fall in love with jump shot, it just doesn't help your team. The faster you can get into a penalty will help me, some other guys that can't get their own shot.
You talk about from a trade standpoint, I'll throw this out to whoever wants to take it. Obviously, big change. I mean, look, Blake has all the sponsorships and everything. He's out in L.A. Now he's in Detroit. A little bit of a different situation. I'm not saying it's bad, but it's a very different. It's a different place. How long does that take? I mean, you're a guy who's been. How long does that take?
I think that first one is you kind of your mind is looking right like that first time you get traded, because most of the time you're younger.
Right.
I think for him he's a little bit older, but when you traded that first time, for myself coming from Miami to Atlanta, it's a little bit of a shock. And
also
going to a different city, you know, from Miami and Atlanta, a little bit different. For him, kid grew up in Oklahoma, went to L.A. to Detroit. It's more than just basketball. That's a culture change and culture shock for him. It's going to take him some time. And it's a different type of coaching style with Stan, so it's going to be interesting to see how he adjusts.
Yeah, no, it's definitely a culture shock going from L.A. to Detroit, you know, that sunshine to this cold weather. But, you know, I think it's good. You know, sometimes I think when you're in one situation too long, either you take it for granted or the team takes you for granted. So, you know, I think this is a new beginning for him, and I'm interested to see how it goes.